What is going on, you guys? Today I have another super quick episode. So we're going to be reviewing a YouTuber named Dave Parada. He's interviewing a woman named JX Dating, and the title here is Style Mistakes That Make Her Reject You, or Common Style Mistakes That Men Make, basically. Let's get into it.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Dating Decoded podcast. Today, we've got another fun interview. We've got Julia on board here. She's actually the mindset coach of the Beast Dating Coaching Program. She's How to Beast Wife, which I know all you guys are familiar with. Good to have you on, Julia.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. And she's also...
So if you guys don't know, How to Beast is a pretty big YouTuber with about like 1.7 million subscribers or so. Julia's his wife. They've been together for like 8-9 years. They have a baby that's coming in like 2 months from now. So if you're going to listen to a dating coach, it would be this one, right? Because there's so many that are like eternally single, right? Like, so if you want potentially like a long-term relationship and to know how to navigate the dating process just as a whole, right? Like whether you want to go through, like a casual phase, short-term, or something long-term, this would be the one I would recommend to listen to. I worked with them for a while. Like I was doing like sales for them. So Julia, Dave Parada, the guy on the left, and How to Beast are all great people. I highly recommend checking out their content. So let's get into the episode.
kind of like our resident, not just our mindset expert, but also like our style expert as well. Like all the guys who do the shoots with us and all the guys in our program. She does the in-depth style breakdowns as well. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this episode, really diving into some of the biggest style mistakes guys make when it comes to just dressing themselves well and making good impressions around women. And so yeah, you're going to learn those mistakes, how to correct them. And that way you can get out there, be looking good for any girl that you approach, and also make sure that your dating profile is on point too. So I guess just to kind of kick things off, Julia, before we get into it, did you want to just give like a quick synopsis of like your story, your background with all this?
Sure. Yeah. So before David, I was getting my master's in therapy. So I finished that. I met David in Boston, and then, we moved down to Texas, and I quit my job as a school therapist and then started working for him full time. And during that time, I learned a lot about dating. I learned a lot about men in general and working with men, especially from my past having that therapy background. So I got to understand what it was like to work with men, but not only working with them, also seeing some of the things that they struggle with. And like Dave said, a big thing is style, confidence, and they both go really hand in hand. So yeah, that's kind of my story. Then I started, doing the Beast Dating Coaching Program. I'm one of the coaches in that. I absolutely love it. And so here I am.
Well, yeah, we originally...
One thing that's really cool about Julia is she mentioned, right, like she has her master's in therapy, right? So she was actually like practicing for a while, and she actually, what's crazy, and a lot of people be like, whoa, like I can't believe you did that. You stepped away from your career. But How to Beast is doing really well, right? It's multiple businesses. They can travel wherever they want, Spain, the U.S., etc. And basically what happened is she saw the mission that he was on, and she sort of embodies the concept of like the ride or die cliche, right? Like it's a cliche because it's true, and what's awesome is that's rare to find, right? So Julia helped How to Beast, where David, their other friend that they're talking about, basically skyrocket his success because she was like helping him film like cold approach, like approaching girls videos, right? And like she kind of got it where like as like a lot of girls would be like, like you're starting YouTube, like I don't know, right? Like so I just think it's like super cool, and if you can find your ride or die type, I definitely recommend exploring that. And seeing where it leads, because that might lead to much more massive success, right? Because that can be hard to find.
I had her hop on like 1 or 2 calls to do style breakdowns like way back in the day, and the guys liked the calls with her so much that we were just like, all right, we got to make this a somewhat regular part of the program, which is what we ended up doing, and it's been a fun process from there. So all good stuff, and yeah, let's just kind of hop right into it. So I guess just to kind of kick things off, let's talk about, just from your standpoint, the importance of good style and kind of how that factors into dating.
Yeah, so I think when it comes to style, I think it seems like a really big, scary thing, especially for guys. And I think it's because they look at girls and they're like, girls are so obsessed with staying on trend. They shop all the time. I'm just not that kind of guy. I don't want to be that kind of guy. And style is also intimidating. If you don't know what you're doing, it's just easier. Guys just want to be comfortable. They just want to wear whatever they think looks good and not really worry about it. But the problem is when you don't worry about it, you end up looking a little bit sloppy. Clothes don't fit you, correctly, and then you're making yourself look like a 4 when you really, if you just change your style, you could look like an 8. So clothing plays such a massive role in making you look more confident when you're approaching girls. What she's judging you on, that's the first thing she's going to notice. So style is really important, and I think, like I said, guys are so intimidated by it. But really, if you just have the basics and you know exactly what to do, it's really not that hard. And then you can just have your wardrobe that's already kind of laid out for you. So every time you go and put on a new outfit, you're going to feel confident in it. You're not really going to worry about it, and that's kind of it.
I kind of love that too, because like guys like to overcomplicate it or like worry about style, like, oh, I don't know if I want to change. It seems hard to do, or they have like an ego around it, like oh, isn't it like, I don't know, like feminine to worry about my style? Like, oh, I don't care, bro. But realistically, like, think about this, right? You're attracted to a girl or a woman because she's attractive. Maybe because she also has good style, right? So she presents herself well. So wouldn't it be fair to say that the same would be fair for her to look at you that way, right? So if she sees you walking around in sweatpants and Crocs and, like you look like you haven't really been shaving, no haircut recently, right? All these different things, like, or like you're wearing some kind of like crazy outfits, right? With weird patterns, etc. Graphic tees, like they're probably going to talk about this, but like, think about it. Like one shows that you put in some effort, and one shows like you don't really care, blah blah blah. And again, up to you, right? But like, it makes a massive difference when it comes to even jobs, right? Like jobs, people taking you seriously, and dating too, right? So I like that they're really touching on this because it's a lot simpler than guys make it out to be.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think it's really easy for guys to stand out, because if you do, like, a funny exercise I like to do is just people watching sometimes. Like, I remember doing this in Austin, sitting down having a coffee and just looking at the guys walking by and just realizing, like, wow, their style it's so average and so bad that if you just put a little, like with a lot of things, if you just put a little intention behind it, very easy to stand out. And it's another way to kind of catapult yourself into that top like 5-10% range, is really getting this on point.
And I think too, a lot of guys think that their style, like they're like, well, I'm not that guy, I can't wear that, right? Like they get like held onto this little bit of identity of being like, I'm not that type of guy. And I think that's just like a lack of confidence. And you see a lot of times with style, it's like what they were wearing in high school or what they were wearing in college, or maybe what their dad was wearing. And then they're like, oh, I'm just going to kind of follow in that footsteps. And if that's the mindset you're taking with style, and also I think a lot of times people are like, oh, I don't want to be gay. Like, I don't want to be like, if I talk about my style, I'm going to come off as a certain type of person. And that's just so, that's such a misunderstanding. And I think like such a cop out.
100%. So now just kind of getting into these initial style mistakes, I guess outside of the 5 main ones we're going to talk about, the one I wanted to touch on, I just kind of realized it as I was planning this out, was just the weird ego a lot of guys have around style, where they're just, there's ego there, and like, they're very protective over their current style and very egotistical when it comes to changing it. Like, they have a lot of walls up. Do you want to speak on that and kind of what you...
Yeah, well, and that's kind of like, they were touching on this a little bit, right? They're wearing like the same clothes they've been wearing forever, right? Like they're like super old clothes or their dad's clothes, and they're like basically not open-minded to change, right? And what's funny about style is they're going to talk about it, but like it's really a lot simpler than guys make it out to be. Like, you want like simple styles, and it's going to look really clean, really classic. It's going to work well for you in different environments, right? So there's no reason to have like an ego around it. And the other thing Julia was saying about like trying different styles, right, is like guys will think like, oh, that wouldn't work for me, but it's like more, again, right, like from an insecurity standpoint, like maybe not feeling confident enough. But I bet you, I would be willing to bet you at their core there's certain styles like they've seen other guys wear, and they're like, oh, that's a cool outfit, like I would love to be able to wear something like that. Or like eventually, maybe it has something to do with like their fitness level at a certain point, where like, oh, I feel like I can't pull that outfit out, or I feel like I can't pull that outfit off because of my current weight, right? Like I want to lose some weight first, or gain some weight even, right? Like not looking too baggy, or like a specific, even just like a shirt, right? Like oh, that shirt looks really good on that guy. And what's worth mentioning here, right, is to some extent, if you like a shirt on someone, or like a pair of shoes or pants, right, it's worth trying it out for yourself, right? Because you get to be, instead of being like insecure and feeling less confident about it, just be like adventurous and like give it a try. Like, go to like a an H&M or a Zara or something like that, and get out there and really just like go to the dressing room, like try a couple different outfits in a new style, so you can be adventurous and get out of your comfort zone.
There.
Yeah, so I think a lot of that comes from not wanting to stand out in like in a way where people are going to like notice them or make comments like, oh wow, you're wearing skinny jeans, or oh, like, you were this type of person that maybe only wore polos and khakis, and then when you try to shake it up or wear something different, someone says something to you. And I think that a lot of guys are really worried about that ego hit, and they don't want to step outside the box. They don't want to have to deal with the judgment of their friends making fun of them or saying something. So it's just so much easier just to stay in their lane and wear what they're comfortable with. And I think a lot of times too is they're worried that it's not going to look good, and then they did something outside their comfort zone, and then they're like, look, I did it, see, like, it didn't look good, and now I'm a loser.
Yeah, I think it comes down to just the way you described it, like a lot down to like that fear of judgment that a lot of guys have with a lot of aspects of dating, like that fear of standing out. What are people going to say? What if I look bad? Rather than just being focused on doing what works and making constant improvements, right? So if you can just have that mindset, it's going to go a lot better.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think a lot of times people don't really know what to wear. And I think that they see like these trends on Instagram or TikTok, and these guys that are really into fashion, and they're like, yeah, I could never wear those plaid pants with that striped t-shirt. And like, you know what I mean? And then they see that and they're like, yeah, I can't do that. And then so I think fashion in that sense gets really convoluted and makes them feel like, I can't be fashionable. I can't do that. But instead it's just really wearing the basics that make you look good.
100%. So let's start hopping into some more of these mistakes here. So the first big one I know that we've seen a lot is guys wearing clothes that don't fit. So you want to talk a little bit about why wearing the wrong size and why wearing clothes that don't fit, like why that's such a big mistake and kind of how women perceive that?
Yeah, so there's two things I hear all the time. Number one is when I lose that weight, then I'll buy the clothes that fit me, right? So that's number one I hear. And then number two is like, well, I don't want to buy all these clothes and then either gain weight or lose weight. And like, I just, like it's almost like this, like, I'd rather just wear the clothes I have now, even if they don't fit. And I think that's a fear to guys that maybe have lost weight and they're worried they're going to gain it back. And it's a kind of a defense mechanism. Like, oh, if I just stay in these clothes that are big, like if I gain the weight back, I have the clothes again. Right. So that's a little bit of a confidence thing. But also I think people don't realize what clothes fitting can do for them. I know a lot of guys that are a little bit overweight and they wear clothes that are just way too tight. And it's just like, I don't really understand that. But then you have guys that are wearing clothes that when they were, 30, 40 pounds heavier, they're still wearing those clothes and their pants are sagging. They're wearing like the belt that's like up here. And it's just like, that doesn't look good either.
Yeah, there's that one guy that does styling for bigger guys. What's his name again? Do you remember him off the top of your head?
Oh, no, but if you can put it in the comments below.
I'll find him and drop him in the comments. But he's definitely a good one if you're a bigger guy to check out.
Yeah, because I think it just shows that even if you're on your journey to losing weight, like you can still style your body in a way that you look attractive. And I think a lot of times guys with bellies are like, yeah, but I'm like heavy, so it doesn't matter, right? Like this is what I look like. And like that Instagram count like really shows that's not true.
100%. Okay, all right. So that's the first big one. Second big one I've seen.
They kind of touched on it. I think one other thing that doesn't really work for guys too, with on that same note, right, is like when it's like a super skinny guy and he's doing, because like there's guys that are like pretty in shape or even like pretty buff, pretty strong, and they're wearing kind of like the cool new look, right, where it's like a baggy t-shirt and they have the quote unquote sleeper build. I don't think that really works the same for guys that are like really skinny, right? Like kind of twiggy, right? Like so they kind of like, I think, try to cover up the fact that they're so skinny by wearing like the really baggy t-shirt. But like you can tell, honestly, you can tell when a guy's really jacked and he's wearing the baggy t-shirt because it like, it doesn't fully show his muscle, but you can tell that he goes to the gym. And then you can tell when the guy's like really skinny and he wears that really baggy t-shirt too. It's like, it's like, he might want to find something that fits him just a little bit better, not like skin tight to accentuate his skinniness, but like something that fits him just a little bit better than like the super baggy, like TikTok t-shirt, basically.
It is guys who like to wear shirts like with a bunch of graphics on them, like the graphic tees and the logos. What's wrong with that? Like why shouldn't you wear like the typical guy out there? Why shouldn't you wear like this big graphic tee?
So I think that was really big in the 90s, and a lot of guys just kind of held on to it, with like the Star Wars or your favorite video game, or like even like Nike used to do it really big. And I think the problem is guys just never changed,
That goes for band t-shirts as well, by the way.
Just like stuck on and kept that on. But it just makes you look like low value, and it portrays like kind of a a weird, like not confident guy. And I think even if you are, you wearing those clothes just portray that. And I think like girls immediately think nerdy, they think gamer, they think, and maybe you're not any of those. It's like you just don't want to be wearing things you like on your shirt. Like, we had a guy in the program that was like, yeah, but I really love Star Wars. And like, I have this really fun like shirt that shows it. And it's like, that's awesome. And you can totally love Star Wars, but that should be a conversation you have on the date. It's not something you want to wear on your body. Like, there's a difference.
Yeah, though I guess the one caveat, I have seen it work for some guys who are like very, very stylish with like tons of accessories. Like they have everything just right, but that is not the like the average guy wearing a graphic tee. That's not how he's doing it, right?
Yeah,
he's kind of throwing the Star Wars on there and hoping for the best.
Of course. And I think like everything we talk about here, I'm going to talk about for like the general public. Again, there's going to be stylish guys that can pull off checkered and plaid and striped all in the same outfit, and they can really make it work. But those are people that are obsessed with style. And if you're not that person, then that shouldn't apply to you. You really want to get and stick to the basics that can make you look the most attractive. And that's why I say, like, you see these guys on Instagram and they're wearing these crazy outfits. And you're like, yeah, that's like me. I want to wear that. Like, unless you're really going to pay attention to the color palette and the type of jewelry they're wearing and all these things, like, you don't want to be that guy, then you can't wear it.
Yeah, for most guys, it's going to be better to just keep it simple, and that's going to be easiest, and you're still going to be able to look good, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, on to the third one, which...
And something else worth mentioning there, too, is, like, sometimes, not always, but sometimes, like, the graphic t-shirt, or even other things, right? Like being, like maybe like if they have an outfit that's very eccentric, or like the super colorful shoes, things like that. Like sometimes it can come off a little more like younger, right? Like a little more kiddish versus more adult, like grown man outfit, right? And again, like they're going to talk about ways to keep it very simple, so style is very accessible for you.
Is you kind of touched on a little bit, like mismatching colors and patterns. So I know a lot of guys do this. They match the wrong colors, they match the wrong things. What are some of the basic rules of color you would say that guys should try to adhere to?
Yeah, so I see this all the time is bright colors, and I don't like neons, and I think that it's just not attractive. Guys in bright neon colors, it just doesn't come off as very masculine. I think guys do better when they're in neutrals, when they stick to the color palettes that are neutrals, like black, white, gray, dark military green, tans, nudes, those colors. I really don't like bright colors. I just don't think it portrays the right thing. I always see guys in bright ass polos, and it's just so college. It's so 2010. Like, it's just not a good look. And I mean, here I am sitting in like this bright orange jumpsuit, right? But it's different for girls, and I know a lot of guys don't like to hear that. But if you're wearing bright colors, it's not a good look. And then now it's different if you're in the summertime when you're wearing like a pastel, like a white, a light pink, a light blue. That's a little bit different because it's summer. You can get away with the lighter colors. But if you're wearing like a bright, deep color.
One other thing worth mentioning there, I know someone's going to be upset by this, but it's really not a good look with like the, let's say the super bright, like neon, like polo. If you combine these things, it's even worse, right? Like that plus the backwards cap plus the boat shoes, right? You know what I'm talking about? Like the what are they called? I can't remember the brand name, but like the boat shoes, like the little brown kind of like moccasin things you see all guys wear. Like that is like an assault on the eyes. I get it, that was a style that worked at some point, and more than likely you're wearing that and you're not like actually, like a sailor, like a captain of a boat, right? So like, it's just kind of a weird, like a little bit too fratty, a little bit too college bro look, especially if you're getting like older. It's just like, you want to start to level up and mature the style a little bit.
It doesn't make you look stylish, doesn't make you look attractive. And I just tell all the guys.
Oh, Sperry's. Boat shoes, Sperry's. That's the one you want to avoid.
To stay away from that.
Okay, now when you are maybe weaving it in a little bit in the summer, maybe like rocking some matching sets, like what would you suggest for guys trying to do that right?
Yeah, so like if you're going to wear a matching set, let's say you're wearing a baby blue matching set, right? Or even just like a navy blue set or something like that, a little bit lighter blue.
And you talk about with like a nice like little button down or t-shirt with like some nice fashionable shorts.
Exactly. So you can have like that matching set, but you also want to pair it with like white leather sneakers, right? Nothing too loud. Again, like you see guys wearing like then red Converse with it. Like that just doesn't go. And I always talk about if you are going to wear a one loud piece, like say you are going to wear like a baby blue shirt, like the bottoms need to be not neutral. Like they have to be very neutral. So like a white, like something that balances it out. Or if you're going to wear like I don't recommend it, but if you're going to wear a red shirt, you shouldn't be wearing like an orange bottom or a green or a blue bottom. Like it needs to be like black jeans then, right? So you have to balance your outfits. And a lot of guys struggle with that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And are there any patterns guys should stay away from, or any like pattern mixing, like any tips you'd have around that?
Again, I don't love patterns. I really don't think it's necessary. Solids are so much better on men. I mean, if you're going to do the occasional flannel, you live in an area where that's,
I know a lot of you Midwestern guys love to do that. So
yeah, so I'm okay with that. But I mean, I don't think any, like at the beach where you're wearing like a checkered shirt, I just like don't think it's necessary. I don't think it looks good. So I really would stay to the solids. But if you are wearing like you talked about, a matching set that does have some sort of like print in it, that's totally fine. But you don't want to be wearing something that has like multicolors, like checkered stripes. Stay away from stripes. They make you look wide. No one looks good in stripes.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. And now just kind of moving on to the fourth mistake, which is something I know we see a lot with guys: wearing the wrong shoes. And shoes can really destroy a whole outfit if you choose them the wrong way. So I guess, yeah, can you just kind of touch on how crucial the right shoes are, and kind of how they affect the outfit?
Yeah, so many guys fight me on this. They don't want to wear the white leather sneakers. And I'm just like, but if it's a must in every man's wardrobe, it's just such a simple shoe that looks good with so many things. So I always recommend, if you do not own a white pair of leather sneaker, guys, you need to get it. But yeah, I think a lot of times people are wearing like black sneakers out with their outfits, and like exercise shoes with their outfits. Like that doesn't go. Unless you're wearing exercise clothes, you should not be wearing exercise sneakers. Now, that being said, if you're wearing Yeezys, those are a little bit different because they are a more stylish sneaker. Or like if you're wearing a Nike swoosh, like those kind of shoes, they're still leather, that's different. But again, stay away from the loud colors, like the Converse red shoes. I see that all the time, or like the green ones. Like there's no need to have loud color shoes. It just really, and again, if you're a sneaker guy and you really like your Nikes, then wear an all black outfit with loud sneakers. That's the only time it would be appropriate. But when you're trying to mismatch loud sneakers with an outfit, it just doesn't look good.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So it sounds like the white leather sneakers should be a staple in every guy's wardrobe. You should have a pair of those. Are there any other like staple?
That's actually one thing on the white sneakers thing. I love that they brought that up, because there's like a look. I'm not sure if it's still so popular right now, but like I was seeing a look for a while where it was kind of like a tech bro look, where it was like they looked really good up top, like the shirt was good, the pants were good, and then they were wearing like running shoes, like New Balance running shoes, or like it was just like it didn't work with the outfit. And the funniest part about it is like if they had like a nice pair of like, maybe boots, or a sort of like more like classy boots, or even like the white leather sneakers, like those could potentially work and really level up that outfit. But they kind of like made it worse by having like the running shoes and then like the really nice pants, belt, and top. So I just thought that was kind of a funny thing that they mentioned, because like the white leather sneakers, especially when you can get rid of like if they don't have like a logo on it, like if it's straight up white, like no other colors on it, that's like the best you can do.
Shoes that a guy should look to have, like loafers or anything like that?
Yeah, loafers are hard. You have to find the right kind. You don't want it, because there's like really easy to look like an old man wearing loafers, right? So you have to find that balance, but there are a lot out there. Also, Thursday boots are really great for men that live in the colder climates and need a good boot. They make Chelsea boots. They make like the lace-up boots. Browns and blacks are good to stick with, especially if you wear black jeans. Black boots look really good with them. Brown boots look really good. Again, though, if you're going to have like a brown boot, you want to keep your clothes up top really neutral.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. And now just kind of moving on to number 5, which is another really common thing we see when guys try to force outdated trends, right? And I know trends they're always kind of changing. Can you just touch on a little bit about like why is it so bad to go for an outdated trend, and what kind of mistakes guys make around this?
So luckily, trends do not go out as quickly for men as they do for women. Women, I feel like every month it's a new trend, right? And men, I would say it's about a year before the trend changes. But that's why if you keep it simple, you're really kind of always staying in trend. That being said, the fits change, right? Like the skinnier jeans were in for a while, and now it's getting to the looser jeans are more in. So you do have to pay attention to that kind of stuff. But for example, V-necks, right? Like those have been out of style for so long, and I can't tell you how many guys still wear V-necks. And it's just
I used to love those V-necks back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, like guys liked it with their necklace, a little hair, showing through their V-neck, but it's just so outdated, and it screams that you don't know what you're doing, or you're not paying attention to other things. And I think girls pick up on that as just, again, a little bit low value, and it's sad, right? It's like your clothes can say that about you, but girls do judge based on that. So it's really easy to just kind of stay on trend if you're just paying attention to, okay, what are these guys on Instagram wearing? Again, not the crazy style guys, but just like the overall trends and what's happening. Oh, okay, looser jeans are in. Oh, okay, a little bit baggier t-shirt is in. Things like that. Just paying attention to the basics for men.
I love that point too, because what she said is really good. It's like if you have the basics and like the simple kind of classic styles down, right? Like basic t-shirts, things like that, like it's a classic style, right? So like it never really goes out of style. So it's easy for you to, maintain that rather than like always like, oh, what's the new trend? Let me do this new thing. What's this crazy new style like this TikToker or this Instagrammer is doing, right? Like it's easier to stick to the basics, keep it simple. And honestly, a lot more women are attracted to that anyways. So I'm glad that they brought that up.
Yeah, so making sure you're following good accounts, making sure you're just kind of keeping up to date with things and kind of at least changing a few things up in the wardrobe from a year to year basis.
Exactly.
Being able to make some adjustments. Yeah, no, for sure. So I think just to kind of recap these tips, number one, don't have the ego around your style. Just be open to changing. Always be just open to feedback in general. You're going to be you're going to benefit a lot from that. Otherwise, avoid clothes that don't fit, shirts with graphic tees and logos, mismatching colors and patterns, wearing the wrong shoes, and then trying to force outdated trends. If you can avoid all that, you're going to be in a much better place style-wise than most guys will ever dream of being, and you're going to make much better impressions around women. Do you have any, parting tips or advice you'd give to guys around style that maybe we haven't touched on?
Yeah, so I think, at the end of the day, if you just put a little bit of effort in, with guys, you can get away with owning 2 pairs of jeans, 5 tops, 2 pairs of jeans, a jacket, 2 jackets, and 2 pairs of boots, and white leather sneakers, you're good, right? So I think that's a mistake a lot of guys make is they're like, oh, I have to, redo my whole wardrobe. And that's not the case. You guys only need, a small wardrobe to make it work. You just like mismatch different things. You wear the all black one day, you wear white and black the next day, you wear your, tan top with your black jeans the next day. Like you have a lot of options based on like just a small amount of wardrobe. And then also, don't be afraid to try different things and think like, I really do want to wear this, because I think a lot of times we get in our heads or we're so worried about what our friends are going to think. And like, that's maybe holding you back from making you like a 4 to an 8. Like just wear the clothes, just try it out, because at the end of the day, like if that's going to get you a more attractive girl, why wouldn't you do that?
All great advice. Have the basics down. You don't need to overcomplicate it. Don't need to overwhelm yourself. You can really get this down really quick and then go out there and do a photo shoot. And like you can have this down and be looking great online and in person within a few weeks, right? If you really want to get this going. Now, yeah, I think this is a great episode. I think the guys are going to get a lot of value out of the style stuff. Hopefully they can make some adjustments. And if you want more direct feedback from Julia, both on style, mindset, all those kinds of things, she's in our program, right? So you can just go to b-coaching.com, check that out and apply if you want our help. And Julia, it's been great having you on.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
All right, and before I let you go, where else can people find you?
JX Dating. I do a lot of dating tips on there as well. And then obviously if you join the program, you can send in your photos and I can give you direct feedback, help you with your body, figure out the exact type of clothes that will look good for you. So we go into much more detail in the program. So if you are interested in that, definitely apply now to work with us.
You'll get that complete Julia makeover for sure. Awesome. Well, let's wrap up here. I'll see you guys soon.
Awesome, guys. So yeah, I mean, definitely some good stuff in here. One thing that I would add on to this, because they didn't quite talk about like grooming, but just like being kind of on top of your facial hair, like your beard and your grooming, making sure that looks clean, making sure that you have a clean haircut, even if you have the long hair. Because this is one thing, she was talking about ego earlier. Even if you have the long hair, making sure to kind of like make sure to every once in a while just trim up the ends, right, and keep it sort of like in style a little bit, so you still look good with that. Because one thing I feel like I should say is like, long hair is something that's difficult for guys to pull off, because not everyone is like your Jason Momoa or your Thor, right, from the Avengers, right? Like not everyone, because oftentimes long hair really like it looks best on guys who have a beard and they're pretty in shape, like pretty muscular, because it's a little bit harder to pull off when you're like pretty skinny or a bit of a bigger guy, right? So that's one thing worth mentioning. And then also like the hair, right? Like not having an ego around, like if you're maybe starting to lose your hair a little bit, like either deciding that maybe you want to get like a hair transplant or just straight up like trying out shaving it off, because that might even be a better look for you, like a sort of like The Rock or like a Jason Statham sort of thing. A lot of girls like that as well. And then also, I would really recommend avoiding dyeing your hair, right? Like doing any crazy kind of like sort of like punk rock, like any of that kind of stuff. Like there's like a small subset of people that will work for. But realistically, like again, like keeping it simple with your style, your grooming your hair, having sort of like classic looks is going to help elevate a lot of things for you, right? Like business, job interviews, dates. So just keep all this stuff in mind. But if you made it this far, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. You got this, bro.